Hey man, how's it going?
Oh, not too bad. It's Thanksgiving weekend in Canada here.
Yep.
Looking forward to turkey.
Nice October. Yeah, me too. Me too. And yeah, welcome back and happy Thanksgiving to our fellow Canadians, as well as early Thanksgiving for everyone else if you celebrate it. But yeah, welcome back to Bite My Shiny Metal Cast. And today we are looking at Scared Screenless, episode 5 of the new Hulu season. Um, yeah,
Season 10 or 13
of
or
whatever.
whatever.
You'll notice I'm not using the numbers. I'm
Yeah,
just
I know.
saying
You should
whatever
say the
season
new
it is.
season. Yeah. But
Um,
what if someone watches this in like 2 years where there's another 3 new seasons? They won't
I
know.
won't know. Yeah, I guess I'll have to look at the date of our thing and see when it came out and
You
everything.
also
Right?
did say the title, Scared Screenless. They could
That's
look
true.
out
They
up
can
by that
figure it
way.
out. Yeah. Hopefully that person can figure it out. But in any case, yeah. Well,
Eh,
let's get into the
maybe.
episode. I guess the title of it, "Scared Screenless." You and I had
Pretty
seen this.
straightforward,
Very
like a title.
straightforward,
Yeah.
and we had seen a snippet of it. I think there was only
There's
one.
like
There's one scene, which
maybe there might have been like 3 pictures or something like when they were kind of like going through everything
I
rapid
don't even
fire.
think it was that
There's
many.
yeah.
I think it was only. I think it was just the one. I think it was honestly just the one because it
And it
was.
was a very obvious one
And it
too,
was
though.
the
It
obvious one
was
because you saw it
yeah,
with the banner, right? So
yeah. Zap was
walks off
standing
of
in
a
front of the
bus. Yeah,
school bus, and
right.
you saw at
Yeah,
least screenless. You saw that like EN
yeah. You
less.
saw
So you're like,
aired
okay, well
screen.
that's got to be it. Yeah,
Yeah, you saw aired
yeah.
screen or something. Yeah.
Red endless. You're like,
Yes. So yeah, so it was we figured out that's what it was, and because of that, and what it would typically become, or what we've seen in like real life, right, are these like scared straight typical kinds of things, right? The scared senseless type of situation.
yeah.
Now in our predictions, kudos to us because last week we did not get that one whatsoever.
Oh
But
no, no.
this time
Ours were better last week.
yeah, but this time we actually did do fairly well because it was, kind of obvious based on the title and because we saw that screenshot of in the trailer. But it was not
Pretty
based
straightforward.
fully around Zep Brannigan. Right,
Unfortunately.
that was the main thing. He was there and he was a key
Oh yeah.
component, but he was not the main focus of the episode. Um, and we were trying to figure out like, oh, who was going to be the person to be in this scared screenless situation. We thought it was going to be the crew. Turns out to be
Yeah.
mostly it was Bender. Bender was part of it as well, which I think I said it was either Fry or Bender or something. But it was actually
I like
the
the fry.
kids. Yeah, it was actually the kids of most of the crew, right? So Hermes, right? Hermes and LaBarbara with Dwight. So
Conrad.
Dwight was there.
Dwight, sorry. Yeah.
Hubert with obviously Professor Farnsworth and Axel, who's like the teenage triplet of Kif and Amy. So Kif was a very prominent part of this episode, but yeah,
it was. I actually do have a couple qualms with this episode, just because they took the kids, right, and then they're like, oh, and shove Bender off too, just because it's like, okay,
John DiMaggio needs something to do.
So. I guess so, maybe. Bender felt shoehorned into that, and I didn't really care for it. Although
he is a robot,
he did lead to one of the best jokes of the season, in my opinion.
Do you want to tell people that at the end with the
end, yeah,
the bats? Okay, cool.
Yeah. And also, why wasn't Mandy in this too? Like the middle child, like she's old enough that she's like 10ish, right? She could have been a part of this.
Yeah,
too, she's on her screen.
I think she is again because they're triplets. Like they're all born at the same time. But I think Mandy is quote unquote just too young. Like she's a child, whereas Axel is a teenager. But yeah, so in terms of our predictions, we did get it fairly accurate. It is indeed like a fat camp kind of thing, like scared for your screens. Let me do a quick synopsis here, and we will get into our positives and our negatives. So yeah, the episode basically, just like last episode, funny enough, we start in Kif and Amy's apartment, weirdly enough, and they're having dinner, but this time it's actually just with their kids. So everybody's having there. Now, the key thing that we take away from it, and the moral of the story kind of thing is Kif is not, and Amy as well, but because of their screens and because of like just, teenagers in general, the relationship between Kif and Axel, his son, is not very strong. So he wants to, any way he can, he tries to bond with his son, and it just doesn't work because his son, Axel, is constantly on his phone.
Millennial parents, am I right?
Right. And well, okay, but then they're not technically millennial parents because they had their kids 20 years prior, right?
But, technically, yes. Yeah, you're right.
In any case, we also jump forward and we see that LaBarbara and Hermes are having issues with Dwight. Dwight is on like 3 screens a day as well, and he's doing all these weird things, and they're trying to get him to see the real world as well, and it's not working. Lastly, we see the professor dealing with Qbert, and Qbert is just going into virtual realities, and just like he's going into virtual realities to go into yet another virtual reality, which is, I thought that was a pretty good joke actually. And
for all we know, that's a future thing.
It probably would be. And poor Fry is just worried about everybody, which I thought was that's part of that joke, honestly.
That was the weirdest thing. They're just him and Leela lying in bed. You know what, Leela? I'm afraid of other people's kids on their phones all the time. It's like, okay,
they don't have kids, right? So you got to bring.
It was Bender, yeah.
I know.
Technically could have been there for that.
He could have said like, Leela, I'm afraid that Bender's spending too much time in his head or something like that. And then Bender's playing Pong, because he's playing Pong later in the episode, right?
With his eyes, right?
With his eyes,
yeah. So fun. I like that little robot detail of Bender.
Yes, I thought that was fun. So, any case, we jump forward to a little bit, and it's bring your kids to work day kind of thing. And all the parents of these kids who are part of the industry, obviously, they're all complaining like, "Oh, our kids don't spend enough time in the real world. They're constantly on their phones. What are we going to do?" So they all force them outside, and they try and get them to do this stuff. And of course, they're suffering from addiction. So they get ways of getting this. Their bars or whatever for their phones,
guys.
from some shady robot
Wi-Fi.
Produce some Wi-Fi for them, like a hotspot.
That was clever. I like that. That was clever.
Yeah,
because it's like the old drug joke, like, "Hey guys, you want some drugs? Hey guys, you want some free Wi-Fi?"
Yeah. Well, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like when Bender was like in the Devil's Hands or Idol, not Devil's.
The first time we see the devil.
Yeah, Devil's Hands or Idol. No, sorry, the first one, Robot Hell.
Robot Hell, yeah.
What is
Hell is for Other Robots?
Hell is for Other Robots. Thank you. And
wow, Bender, I remember the title.
Yeah,
wow.
Right. And Bender is jolting or whatever it's called, right? And he's like taking the electricity, like that's their drug is electricity. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty clever. Any case, the kids suffer from like this addiction thing, and then they end up getting hospitalized because they're on their screens like all night long, and they don't sleep or anything. So the doctor, we go back to the Taco Bellevue Hospital, and all the parents.
We've seen this doctor before. Right?
Oh yeah. He's always like afraid to give him bad news, and he's always like really sensitive about everything. And so this time he's like, it becomes a little bit easier or whatever. So, any case, the professor says something ridiculous about like going back in time and not having kids. To which Kif says like, "Listen, I think I have a better way. It's not a good idea, but it's a better idea than the professor's. Let's do this." And so what we cut to is what we saw in the trailer, which turns out that Zap Brannigan, on his off time, I guess, set it up a scared screenless situation, basically, I guess, for his cadets or whatever who are on their screens too much. And he can basically try and get them on, I think it was a 2-week time away from their screens, and they can, get back into nature and everything. So Dwight, Qbert, Axel, and Bender, because I guess the professor or whomever says like, okay, you're on your screens or too much, or you're in your head too much or whatever, you get to go too. Oh, I think Hermes actually sends them or something. So
I don't know. Someone pushes them. One of the adult crew pushes them. Yeah.
So the 3 boys have to get rid of their phones, and Bender has to get rid of his antenna. Okay. They put them into a bag that Zap Brannigan holds, and they get on the bus and they fly away. Now, a side small B plot of this, and I will admit the B plot of this is actually a lot more cohesive than it was in the previous episode, is that the girls, right, the women, so LaBarbara, Amy, and Leela are like, we're gonna have a ladies' night or whatever, because like they're gone for 2 weeks, but they're gonna have like a long ladies' night.
Yeah. Well, so, Hermes was like, "Hey, LaBarbara, you want to have a good time?" "Yeah, ladies' night." And then they just, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. And then Fry was like, "Okay, we're gonna have a ladies' night of our own, right?"
Our own. All right, man. Yeah.
So that was great. I will say as well, this is just a side thing because I've known you for so long. Zordberg says designated driver.
Yeah, that was me. I was always designated driver. Yeah. Honestly, when that happened, I was like, "Oh my god." Yeah, like me and him are just like so on par with each other. He's sad and lonely. I'm sad and lonely. He's the designated driver.
So the boys and Bender are sent with Zap, and they go to this planet. Okay, I can't remember what the planet.
What was it called? Yeah, it was something weird.
It was a very basic or whatever. But in any case, Zap is basically living easy. He has his own stuff, and he's basically there on a vacation. Whereas the boys all have to do this stuff without any help. So they have to put up tents, they have to cook their own food, they have to hunt in the morning, all this kind of stuff without any form of like technology or training. And of course, they all hate it because they're so much more used to, living easy because that's just the way they were. Now, during this time, Bender sticks a fork into where his antenna was just because he feels like he was a little empty up there. So he puts a fork.
Yeah. He had to take off his antenna because that's technically like his phone. Yeah.
Yeah, and they
I
put it
don't
in
remember
the
if
bag
he
with
did
the
or not.
cells. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did mention that. But any case,
My bad.
they go to they're roughing it outside or whatever, and Zap is doing his own thing. And he mentions that during this time they're going to have to go out and hunt something called the snipe, okay, which is the only person who knew this existed is Zap Brannigan for one reason or another. The boys don't believe him. Bender doesn't believe him. So whatever. Any case, the next day, Zap is sleeping. So the four of them go out and they're quote unquote hunting. But Bender realizes that he gets signal, which gives him Wi-Fi in the sunlight with this fork. So the boys are like, oh, yes, finally we can do this. So they get their stuff back and they basically can go back onto their cell phones and all this kind of stuff and do whatever they want. But then we're introduced to, wouldn't you know it, a new family of waterfalls. And these waterfalls are basically cousins, I want to say. Cousins of like the ones that we've seen from Earth because they went away, like a distant
like
relative.
a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we'll say like 100 or so years prior.
Like they decided they're still giant hippies and they're like the most hippie. They're like the redneck hippies, if you will, because they inbreed. But basically, one of them, which we figured, what's his name? Sorry, it's
Groove Stick, like groovy and
Groove.
like a stick from a tree. Groove Stick. Yeah, you keep calling like Gruber off camera and something like that. It's like no, you're close. You're close.
Groove Stick Waterfall, who's a cousin or a descendant, whatever, of the waterfalls that we knew and loved from previous episodes.
Now, to cut you off there, did you know that all the waterfalls were all voiced by one guy?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, Phil Hendry.
Phil Hendry. Okay, yeah, that's probably
he had a radio show back in like the 90s and early 2000s called the Phil Hendry Show.
Yeah.
And he was famous for this because he would pretend someone would call him and it was his own voice. He was a very good voice actor that everyone's like, oh, someone's grandma called him, and because he was, hi there, Phil, it's me, Grandma so and so. So I didn't know this, and when I was looking up this episode, I was like, holy crap! He played Old Man Waterfall. He played like Free Waterfall, like Free Waterfall, in the movie.
Junior, Free
Junior,
Waterfall,
Senior.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say he sounds very much like Free Waterfall Senior. Like this particular Groove Stick Waterfall sounds very much like that voice. So I was like, oh, okay, they got the same guy, which I'm happy about. And I guess he plays his wife / cousin.
Yeah, Bliss Waterfall, yeah, and then also Waterfall Offspring is he's credited to.
Yeah. So in any case, it turns out these waterfalls are inbred. They're selective inbreeding.
Selectively. Yeah. Not too selectively though.
Yeah, not too selectively.
Yeah, I didn't like that joke. I didn't like that joke at all.
However, due to the fact that they are distant from any kind of technology and live in the wilderness and everything, I think the main waterfall, Groove Stick Waterfall, knows about it, and he kind of just keeps the family away from, the protector, so to speak. But the boys and Bender all show off their technology, and thus they blame them like, oh, hey, don't look at their screens, they'll corrupt you. And just at that moment, the planet goes through an eclipse, which is kind of like reminiscent, solar eclipse, which kind of reminiscent of like, magic used to bring bad tidings, so people who were smart enough to kind of control this or predict this kind of stuff, they could kind of manipulate people by saying like, I can control the weather, I can control the time. So this happens. So Waterfall uses this to basically turn the entire town against the boys and Bender. They chase them. Okay, now, meanwhile, back on Earth, the men who are having their own ladies' night they go through their own shenanigans, and Zoidberg ends up crashing into a police station, so they end up going to prison. Axel needs to call home to get Kif because he knows that Zap Brannigan is useless, so he tries to call his dad. And the one time he calls him, and he can't get through to him because his phone dies because they don't have the Wi-Fi anymore. So Kif says, okay, we have to figure out a way to contact Zap Brannigan. We have this phone that's kind of it's kind of like a normal rotary phone or like a hardwired phone from planet to planet using a wormhole, sci-fi stuff.
A mini wormhole.
And it's an
wire.
And for emergencies. So they have like this old relic rotary phone in the prison cell, which he uses. And because it kind of breaks, they use something that Zoidberg has, which is like cups, because he also had phones. They had to get rid of their phones.
Two cans on a string.
This whole situation, they make the MacGyver a phone from all these different things, so they're able to communicate and talk with Zap Brannigan and the rest of them. And Kif is able to kind of scare away the waterfalls long enough that the eclipse goes away, and everybody kind of like, oh, it turns out they're not actually evil. It was just a coincidence or whatever. But not Free Waterfall, Groove Stick Waterfall is pissed off that they corrupted their family. At that time, however, the snipe comes out and eats, as
That
true
was
to
a
form with
weird
waterfalls, he eats Groovestick Waterfall, to which his son mildly says, like, I'll avenge you, Dad.
because he's busy on the phone playing games.
I thought that was a pretty good joke. And then the rest of them all go learning a lesson about, being with family and all this stuff. So Axel and Kif now kind of have a little bit better of a relationship. He now kind of acknowledges Kif on a phone call by
Well,
sending a heart or whatever.
no. Hey, Axel, are you okay? And then Axel just thumbs up that thing, and then Kif's like, "Yes, Amy," because the girls got put in prison,
Yeah.
and the guys got out. It's like, yeah, Axel's okay. We just had a great conversation.
Exactly. And that was all it was like a thumbs up or a like of this.
Yeah,
Yeah. Any case, that was very, very quick synopsis, obviously, and I'm sure many people would have seen the episode anyway. But hey, I liked this episode. I thought this was a very funny episode. I was very
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Odenkirk didn't disappoint again. He did very well with the episode. I thought it was very good.
I have a few qualms, but like more or less, the episode itself, it was fine. I liked it a lot. There was good jokes. Right. Zap Brannigan was the golden gem.
Zoidberg is a gem.
Yeah, Zoidberg was good. Well, Father Man.
Let's talk about our positives and our negatives then. So, do you want to start? Why don't you start this time with your positives of the episode? What did you feel?
Yeah. Well, anytime Zap talked, it was hilarious. Like I loved it when he first introduced, we're gonna like get you guys off of your phones, so that makes you guys the wieners. Oh, sorry, the weenies, and I am the wiener. I had to pause it the first time I watched this because I was laughing because I didn't expect a good like worded joke from him, because usually it's kind of like a pompous thing, but this was just good. It was a really good joke.
It worked out, and then Kif and I like how Axel now adds in with the, because Kif goes every time, and then Axel goes like they both do it. So I thought that was pretty good. Yeah.
Let me see. I like that we saw the waterfall people again. I don't like how they got there. You literally could have just, rather than, oh, we've been here for generations, man, and we're inbred. You could have just been like, yeah, we moved here like 30 years ago because we didn't like technology. Oh, cool. You didn't have to make it weird.
Except for except for the spaceship, right? It's technology. It was pedal or whatever, but yeah.
Well, yeah, as they've proven when Dwight and Hubert did their delivery thing. They could pedal. They had a pedal spaceship. So like it's not that hard if you guys remember what you wrote, or in the canon or whatever you want to call it.
I mean,
let me see.
It really bother me that much, but yeah, it's a little.
Of course, it wouldn't bother.
But it is nice to see waterfalls again.
Yes, I love seeing the waterfalls. Zap Brannigan, awesome. Zoidberg being Zoidberg and not having any money to buy a phone and has literally just two cans. It's old technology coming back.
Yeah, that's right. And it gets the best value for the batter or whatever he says. Like you can and it smells like cream of mushroom every day. Like he's so happy with this can.
Well, what's your favorite soup to smell? I guess if I was going to say,
I've never thought of that. I don't think I have chicken noodle.
I would
chicken noodle.
Yeah. I would not say cream of mushroom or cream of anything really. Especially, but yeah, chicken noodle says
Zoidberg's had that can for.
Yeah.
I love Zoidberg for like, so designated driver, like, and he's like super happy about that. And then they're all like doing like the woo girl thing in the car on the road, and then Zoidberg pops up. He's like, Zoidberg, who's driving? He's like, oh, God forbid the driver can't get some fresh air. And he goes back down. And then they have the scene like, Zoidberg, you're driving the wrong way on a
one-way road.
And he's like, oh, sorry. And he changes. It's like, now you're driving the wrong. You're the wrong way on a two-sided road or whatever, because he's going sideways.
Technically, he's driving in one right direction. It's just the car's facing the wrong way.
Oh, so I thought that was funny. And then like when they crash into the police station and everything, it was great. But the girl,
I did have a qualm with that. I mean, the whole thing's fine, but for some reason, you see that a stereotypical hubcap roll, and then do that wobbly sound. They're on a flying car. They're hover cars and everything. They don't.
It wasn't
either way, it's a hover car area. They haven't had
it was a hubcap
wheel cars.
Else?
Yeah. Because I remember, I paused. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. And I went back like the 2 seconds was there, and like you see the hubcap go in between. I'm just like, it's a very.
They smashed into a police station, right? So
that's true, but like that's stereotypical, not word cliche. It's the cliche car crash thing where there's a hubcap that rolls and makes that noise
because of that. Off screen, right?
So. Yeah, it's just like, okay, all right, we're not being fully consistent, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I guess I didn't really mention either. So like the ladies' night, which I guess lasts like 2 weeks or however long. I guess they weren't that long. They were there for 2 days. But the time where the ladies were having their ladies' night, they go to that old quote unquote Irish pub or whatever, like the Zorgnacks or whatever. And Leela, because she's the only one of the three that doesn't have any kids, and the two, Amy and Barbara, keep on talking about their kids. Leela's
and how cute they are and stuff.
Yeah, it's like, I challenge you guys to drink every time anybody mentions kids, and so they can't help themselves. They end up getting so drunk they end up having to go to prison. So I thought that was pretty good. I think all the little plots worked well together. I thought that was fine.
They didn't take away. They didn't take away from the other one or anything like that. They all kind of worked together. Because during the guys girls night, they got their phones taken away, and like, no, that's my son. He's calling me, Axel, Axel.
When he goes right to when they go to prison or whatever, right? And that's why they have to get their whole shenanigans with the cream or the cans and everything. Okay, well, like my positives are basically what we've mentioned. I also really enjoyed, seeing the outcome of what happens to a waterfall. I'm glad they followed that trend. I do like
they generally have to die.
Doesn't care much because he's on his phone. I thought that was hilarious. I think Zap Brannigan was very Zap Brannigan. But yeah, I guess why don't we go on to our negatives then? So you have a few negatives for this. Oh, sorry, no.
Yeah,
there was a really good joke you really liked.
Oh yeah, the whole setup with the phone thing with Zoidberg having like I have two cans. It's the best connected by a string. It's the best for your battery kind of thing, right? So, and then during the whole like hippies chasing the kids and stuff when Zap's getting the call from Kif saying, "Hey, this is an emergency phone. I need to use it for an emergency."
Right.
And then it gets broken by a turn-up arrow, which I love that little thing, but like it wouldn't work in real life because the stalks aren't that strong.
Well, I think they turn up to a stick, don't they? They bite it and they stick it to a stick and then they shoot.
No, it was the stock. It was the stock. It's just a fun little like cartoon thing to do. It's fine. It's an old trick. And then Bender gets his head knocked off, but not like the digital imparts. Now you got a can, and so then they somehow attach it to
That's
the
right.
thing.
He has a phone jack in his head.
It's a phone jack in the head,
right.
And so the fact that it can connect to the thing, to the wormhole, to the prison phone, and with the can for Zoidberg, because they also broke the phone in the prison cell, so they had to attach the cans to that. It was just a beautifully like well thought out masterpiece of a joke. Like it was a rift attached to a rift of a.
I also, because now that you mentioned that, because Zoidberg also, like, one of his key moments in this, like, he had so many great things in this episode, but then at the very end, Kiv is like, if you go anywhere near my son, I'm gonna kill you or whatever, and it scares the waterfalls back, right? But then afterwards, it's like, hello, who's this? It's like, who's talking now? It's like, Zoidberg, how are you? He wanted his kids phone or wherever he is. He's always just talking to people that way. So I thought that was good. In any case, let's move on to our negatives. So
I did like that joke. I think that was very well thought out. Probably the best joke. Yeah,
I agree. No pun intended. But yes, it was a very, very well made joke. So what were your negatives on? What was your qualm?
Kind of already said most of them. I didn't really care for they needed Waterfall to die again, but the snipe eating him because it's like a little chicken sized weird thing. That was weird.
That reminded me.
The incest thing is very weird.
Yeah.
You kind of substituted one for one, and I didn't like that. It was a lacking.
It reminded me of Nibbler and a mini version of what was that? The bonus vampirist, the bone vampire from
what
was it, Mr. Peppy?
Mr. Peppy.
Yeah.
Well,
it kind of like the eyes and everything reminded me of that, and so I was like, oh, that kind of reminds me of that creature. But anyway,
that's what I'm saying. It was lacking or something. I like just ingenuity, maybe.
It was just some random creature they had to create for the episode in order to.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they could have made it like an actual monster because they already established earlier too that a snipe just dies by fright, like and then it came out of nowhere being like an alpha.
Another
roar.
Right, yeah.
So it's just inconsistent. It was very inconsistent, so I didn't like that. Also, just to kind of like why, it reminded me of the Bone Vampire and Nibbler. Mm-hmm. Well, it's because our good old buddy from last episode who played Conter, D. Bradley Baker, he's known for his creature voices, right? So he played the snipe. They actually had quite a few
they had a lot of
guest appearances, right? They had D. Bradley Baker as the snipe, Dawn Lewis as La Barbara because she's in it for like 6 lines. They had Kevin Michael Richardson. As much as I love him, I don't like seeing him playing Earl. Sure. And then they had Kath Suchi who was playing Cubert.
Right.
And I guess
and all the
Phil Lamar played Dwight in this one rather than the actual Dwight Conrad actor.
Bumper Robinson did come back? Oh.
No, not according to IMDb, but maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Actually, Dwight didn't have a lot of lines now that I think about it, did he?
No, like maybe something about him when they're on the park bench. He's like, "Oh man, this reality really needs an update because he can barely control the pigeon."
Right,
That was
right. Yeah,
basically
he cut out a cardboard and made it look like a
yeah, that was
screen.
basically it. Yeah, when they're outside, and
He couldn't zoom in with his 2 fingers.
yeah, maybe there was
Yeah,
one
so
other line that he had. Yeah, you're right. Oh, I didn't. Oh, well, that was a pretty
yeah,
good imitation of him. See, that's if you're going to replace a voice actor, that's what you got to do, right? Find
make
the
it sound the
person
same.
who actually makes them sound the same as they were before. Michael Richardson, and I agree with you for the
I
reason why
love
they
him.
probably changed
Love
him.
him.
I love him too, but for the reason they changed him, I would disagree with, and I don't think that was fair to
Yeah.
John DiMaggio.
Just like a few
But
episodes ago with the Indian character from Leela's first work,
that's
they
right.
replaced him with another actor.
Right,
Just
great
for a
actor,
couple of
great
accents.
actor, but he's only the character's only ever voiced in 2 episodes, and, like, you don't
Yeah.
need to change like, he was barely in that episode, like, whatever. Any case, I could totally agree with that. Mine
But yeah,
yeah.
what dislikes did you not like?
Well, I was just saying, like, my negatives of this
Or
episode, because
is
I did enjoy it,
negatives?
for the most part. Yeah, you know what? I don't think there was much I thought it was actually a very solid episode. I don't think I would
Yeah,
actually
it's solidly written,
there's
lots of jokes. Yeah.
yeah, I was kind of with you on that with the snipe. I thought it was like a little, yeah, whatever. Could have been a little
Odd.
bit cooler, a little bit more dangerous, or
Yeah,
something.
make it an actual like predator creature rather than like another little nibbler
Yeah,
weird thing.
yeah,
Because Nibbler actually has a cool past story and character arc and purpose.
sure, sure. And like even and maybe elaborating a little bit more onto like the ladies' night out and the men's night out in some regard because we focused a lot on them, and the ladies was just like, oh, just don't mention your kids, and we're just going to keep drinking, and then that was kind of it, and then they end up at the bar at the end. I thought maybe we could have seen more. Like maybe their two paths could have combined. They all could have been in prison together or something. But
Yeah, actually,
that's not really much
you,
else because their B plot was very
yeah,
separate, right? So
there, yeah, BC plot, whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
yeah,
B
whatever
dash
it was.
two.
Yeah, it was a very minor thing, but I
Yeah.
do. I mean, as a positive though, I do really love the moral of the story though with Kif and Axel kind of having that because even Axel says like, "All I ever wanted was never speak with him again, and now I'll never speak with him again." Like it was a
I
joke,
didn't like that.
but he clearly like missed his dad, so I thought that was really
Yeah,
it was nice that they could do that. I also did. I don't know. Did you catch the little Easter egg with Zach Brannigan in his tent?
yeah. It was the same time we saw him with Leela in like the third or fourth episode, or
Oh
something
no,
like that,
the
right?
thing that he's cuddling when they check up on
What
him and
was
he's
it?
sleeping. It was Cutie McWhiskers. The thing that
Oh, that shoots lasers out of his eyes.
but it was like
Oh, well, make him 10 feet tall. 10 feet tall.
he actually has one, so they must have made like the little small ones for the kids.
That's
So
awesome. Well, I thought you meant like the inside of his tent, like the decoration was like the same as like when we first saw him. Yeah.
no, and then yeah, having all the characters kind of come together. I do like Axel as part of like their little group. I think that's always kind of cool, and that way they always
Yeah.
have
So it's a,
a trio.
I'm just so weirded out that he's a teenager and kind of like he's a very typical teenager trope. So like he doesn't quite have a personality
right.
at the moment, other than just the like he's that part of Kif,
Yeah, he's
which
the
is
cool.
fine.
Yeah,
But like if you're going to establish this as my character, which is it's kind of hard to do because how many times have we seen Kubert and Dwight kind of have their own little arcs? Maybe once or twice over the course of like
3 episodes, I think, because we have like when they get the company, right? They make their own company. There's
Awesome
obviously
Express. Yeah.
Awesome Express. There's also, of course, the Bender's Game when they're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and that was like a main focus.
Yeah,
of those guys.
they had a couple scenes. Yeah.
Um,
I know the one where the professor, I don't want to live on this planet anymore. So Zoidberg became kind of
always got
Kubert's guardian.
oh,
Not yeah, Kubert's
Guardian.
guardian.
Yeah. Oh, and we saw the mural of that in his room when the professor.
Yeah,
comes
Father Man.
Yeah, we saw that.
Father
Yeah,
Man.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a nice call.
Dwight had a couple things like, but the thing is, like,
Yeah.
actually, it's only been in like maybe like what two or three episodes now,
He's a
and it's hard to establish that. Yeah, he's a very new character. Yeah, and as I think you and I discussed, like the last 2 seasons are technically one season just separated by 2 years,
That's
and
what it
we
feels
can
like.
see the quality, right? So hopefully, with the next half of this new season next year,
Mhm.
we might see another one, and then maybe it's going to be more
Elaborates more
Amy
on
being awesome or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Sure.
I want to see Axel be a little more than just the teenager stuff.
I feel like because they have so many characters now, they might focus a little bit more on
Just
that.
stereotype them.
We did see that with Mandy, right? Like Mandy and during what was that episode? The cuteness
Overlord.
Yeah, not
Overload?
Overload.
Overload?
Yeah. We saw Mandy and Sally, I think her name was. Like they kind of
I thought
bonded.
it was Newt.
No, Newt is her little sister. I'm talking about Sally, the orphan. Who
Oh,
Mandy
right, right,
bonded
right,
with,
right.
right? So we saw a
Right.
little bit
Oh,
of growth with Mandy.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I get it.
I haven't rewatched those episodes since they came out because they were not
I'm just
good,
well,
right? So
it just kind of reminded me of that because I'm like, oh, you're right. We've seen a little bit more, like, what's the word? Like development with Mandy, whereas we haven't really seen that with Axel yet. So maybe later
well,
we
here,
see more with Axel. We'll see. Like
here
this
we
one
go.
kind of a little bit more because he did show a little bit like, oh, like I miss my dad, even though I hate my dad, but I miss my dad. You know that kind of. We kind of saw that.
Yeah, but I would still kind of say that's a bit of a teenager trope because like Dwight and Cuba didn't really say the same thing, but whatever. But here's an idea for you for a future episode, which they may or not do. Maybe Fry and Leela want to start a family. So hey, let's babysit your kids, Amy and Kif. And Amy and Kif can have their own little B plot or something like that about how they like happy to be away from the kids and then they miss them, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you can have Leela and Fry take care of the kids, and maybe Mandy brings over Sally or something like that because
they're friends or whatever. Sure, yeah, and of course they come from the same orphanarium and everything. And Leela's I mean, like a little too clever.
like Fry, how am I supposed to relate to these kids? I was an orphan. Well, let's bring them to the orphanarium. Yeah. Sally, Mandy. Oh crap, I forgot they were friends or something like that, right? Like we're gonna go have fun, and then maybe they get lost, and Leela has to save them or something like that. Yeah, she realizes the power of being a mother.
Sure,
that's a pretty good message. There.
I have a feel that could easily be an episode in the season, and I could see that leading to the finale of like the quote unquote next series finale.
Like the episode before that.
Well, I have a feel the one that's going to be written by our series finale guy. That episode is going to be Leela and Fry are going to find out that they're pregnant. That's what I think is going to happen.
Well,
and just because the reason I say that is because they're focusing a lot on family and lots of these things throughout this season. So I do think like they have a lot of stuff with kids. They have a lot of stuff with like people being together and all this kind of stuff. I think that's kind of the key. And like I need you and Fry. I need like you have to take care of my plant, right? Like in 50 Shades of Green, I need you to take care of my plant and everything. Like I need to know that you're going to be there for us and our family in the future. Like this kind of thing. I think that's what they're aiming towards if they're planning that. But that would be my guess. But yeah, I guess that is Scared Screenless. So
back to the episode.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to add about the episode?
No, like I said, like it was a very good episode. Lots of funny jokes in there. It's always amazing to see Zap Brannigan, Zoidberg being front and center with some good jokes. As I said, there's the two things I didn't really like was just the weird incest parts. Like, okay, why would you have to include that? It feels like you could have just left that out. And then also the weird little creature, being basically a nibbler version of like the bone vampire,
right?
But as a chicken,
Mr. Peppy, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Mr. Peppy, yeah. It felt a little odd. It felt out of place for this episode. Just kind of like, okay, he's got to die now, and he's dead. Okay, good. Okay, I'll avenge your son, or sorry, I'll avenge your dad.
No, it was more like I'll avenge you, Dad.
Yeah, like I'm busy playing the game. Go away.
No, fair enough.
So just yeah.
Well, okay. So
and
yeah. Well, what would you? Because I didn't really ask this time. Like, what would you rate this episode? Well, you and I both.
Oh, I liked it, but I
during our prediction time.
It does have that really good joke. I'm gonna give it a 7, but like I'm gonna say the same thing as I did last time. A soft 7.
Soft 7?
Yeah, a soft 7.5. Like it was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I could watch this episode over again, but just there's a couple things that kind of just rubbed me the wrong way where it taints it a little bit.
Sure. No, I was pleasantly surprised by this episode as I have been with most of the episodes this season. I would say I'm actually going to go 7.5 for this. I'm going to go a full step and a half more than what I predicted because it's solid. Like there's a lot of really good jokes in this, as you just mentioned, and little weird things in this, but the story is cohesive. I laughed a lot.
The jokes are good.
Yeah,
the jokes are very good.
There's a lot of
again the long written joke. Yeah. Oh yeah, Heart. Yeah,
Heart is in there. The characters act like the characters. Like there's nothing wrong with this episode whatsoever. I would almost go to an 8. I just think it could be better, just a little bit in something. Yeah. But 7.5 is where I would probably store it. So I'm gonna go with that. Cool.
It's one of the best ones of the Hulu so far.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. I think there's what I think I agree with you. I think there's one more that's better, and that's coming up in a few more episodes. But there's that's also a very solid episode. But this one, absolutely very, very good. So no, I guess that's where we'll leave it for Scared Screenless. And we'll see everybody next time for, of course, Wicked Human, episode 6 of this. And yeah, thanks again.
We got that prediction wrong too.
Yes, we did. Thank you, Mitchell, for joining me. And yeah,
thank you for hosting.
Of course, please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to comment if you like talking all things Futurama. And yeah, we'll see everybody next time. All right. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too, man. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.